Welcome to another episode of Leading Our Adventures, your Venturing BSA podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Todd, and I serve as the Vice President of Program for the National Venturing Officers Association. We have two special guests today. For those who are interested in a venturing crew and starting a venturing crew, an experienced adult leader, and a motivated youth member who will share their insights and experiences in starting a venturing crew, which happened just a few months ago. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Well, without further ado, we're going to introduce our guest, the president of the recently chartered Crew 11, Reed Coleman, and crew advisor and Reed's father, Mr. Coleman. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you please tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves and your experiences with scouting, how you became interested in starting a crew?
Hi, I'm Reed. I'm currently a life scout working on my Eagle, and I'm working on my Discovery rank in Crew 11. When I first joined my troop, I fell in love with scouting. I earned tons of merit badges, I rushed through the ranks, and then I started to get active in my council. I staffed leadership courses, I got very active in my OA lodge, and I'm constantly looking for more scouting opportunities. Through becoming more active in my council, I wanted to find more ways to get involved in scouting. I saw many of my friends in crews, and I looked around, there were only 3 or 4 active crews in my whole council, so I thought it'd be a fun challenge to start a new one and to hopefully raise more knowledge about venturing.
Thanks, Hannah. So I'm Brad Coleman. I'm the advisor for Crew 11. I've been an adult leader for close to 14 years now. Started off as a den leader, cub master, ASM, and then I was a scout master. And when we moved and joined a new troop, became an ASM, which I currently still serve as. I had previously helped start a girls troop. Reed was one of the founding members of it. I found that to be enjoyable and a challenging process. So when Reed floated the idea of starting a crew, I was all in.
Awesome. I'm so glad you guys did. It's such a cool experience. Could you walk us through the process from the idea to the actual formation of a crew?
Yeah, of course. Well, starting our crew, we knew we wanted it to be pretty high adventure based. That was our goal with the entire crew. It was our theme. Troop 11, which is the troop, used to have a crew, however, it folded many years ago, and I thought it'd be nice to start it back up and just see how it went, see if we had any interest. The reason a lot of people around were joining crews in the first place is they weren't getting that sort of adventure that they wanted from their troops and their troop outings. I told my friends who were in scouting my idea for starting a crew and gained tons of interest beforehand, months before. And we talked out the logistics of it with our unit committee. We told our chartered organization when we'd meet, and then we finally had an interest meeting.
Yeah, I'll just quickly add, having a supportive charter org, particularly the charter org rep, was really a huge help. Our rep was extremely helpful in getting us off the ground, getting all the paperwork done, making sure the council was on board, all those sort of things.
I'm so glad, and I'm glad that I'm able to hear both an adult and a youth's perspective for this and for our listeners. Is there anything that was unexpected in the process?
Well, I think the most unexpected part for me was the support that we got from these other crews in our council. I think that it's super important and it is super appreciated that your council VOA and other crews in the council support these newly forming crews like we were. We had people from other crews show up to our interest meeting to share stories and other info about venturing, and it got people interested, and it went really amazing.
Oh, I'm getting chills thinking about it. That's awesome.
One of the biggest challenges we had was finding a female adult leader. You know, the idea of high adventure was didn't draw everybody in, but luckily one of the adult leaders that went with our council to the National Jamboree was looking for more adventure than what our troop was doing, and loved the idea of a crew and the vision that Reed had for it. So she helped us get started, and we had the right number of leaders. Once the crew got going, we've had actually several adults step up now, both female and male. So the support we've got, it's been great and made it much easier.
So glad. Could you discuss the role as a venturing advisor? I know it's different from what people may be familiar with the Scoutmaster, and how youth leaders are selected and trained, and maybe even share some examples of successful collaborations that you've experienced.
Well, selecting the youth and training them, after our first couple meetings, we want to do it really early on. We had our elections. Everyone came up, they gave speeches, and then we all voted. 2 or 3 weeks after that, we had our first ILSC training. And it was great seeing how interested everyone was in being a part of the crew's youth leadership. And when it comes to collaborating with the advisor, even if he is my dad, so far it's mostly included confirming meeting plans, figuring out the inner workings of a crew since we're both new to this, and just overall behind the scenes work. When it comes to actual meetings and outings, as president, I'm the leader. I'm the one up front talking to everyone. The only time that the advisor comes up to talk is when we're closing and it's time for our advisor minute. It's definitely been a learning curve, and I think that's the beauty of scouting and venturing being so youth-led. We've definitely had obstacles, we've had a lot of arguments, but we've figured it out and we've come up with our solutions entirely as the youth.
Yeah, advisors don't really lead the unit. The youth do that, but the advisor kind of ensures the unit has the resources needed, offers guidance occasionally, but also makes sure the youth are always in a safe situation. So I kind of view the role as a safety net. When we first started, we had a few experienced scouts come in and talk about the leadership positions, make sure everybody had the same understanding. We had the elections, as Reed said. We had the LSC. The council VOA president came in and taught the LSC. Introduction to leadership skills for crews, which was really helpful getting everybody up to speed quickly. Kind of got us moving quickly. And I think the biggest collaborations between our two roles, president and advisor, so far have been mostly to make sure we set the right tone for the crew. You know, there are crews who are fun based, there's adventure based, there's all kinds of things. We wanted to make sure that everybody understood what our tone of the crew is going to be, our goal or the culture, what we're going to focus on, how we want the meetings to be. We want to make sure we got a few quick wins on the first outings, make sure they were successful, which they were. And then we had a great successful annual planning, which really got things in motion and set us up for success.
Awesome. I've seen a little bit of your adventures that you've been having, and it looks like a blast. What kind of activities and programs can you tell our listeners about that Adventuring Crew can offer to its members and specifically to your members?
Yeah, well, the appeal to venturing, like many people, including myself, is the high adventure based program. Things like backpacking, climbing, and caving are all stuff we have planned for our next year. Of course, it's different for every crew, what they want to focus on, but we knew when we were starting the crew, we wanted to be very high adventure based. For our first camp out, we went backpacking to the highest point in Virginia. It was cold, rainy, foggy, but the adventure and getting to know everyone and specifically seeing the wild ponies made it all worth it. Not to mention the way the crew bonded after that trip. It was really great to see.
That sounds like so much fun. How do you plan on engaging in adventurous activities and experiences for the future? And what is your first step to your next few outings, I guess?
Well, it's first important to just ask the crew, what do you want to do? It's a small thing, it seems obvious, but it goes a long way to keep everyone interested. You have to make sure you're getting everyone involved. For our first outing, we did a service project for our chartered organization, and then we directly went to a corn maze after. We had a great turnout, and it was an amazing way to get people at the service project, knowing that we were going somewhere fun afterwards. Another thing that we did very early on is we had an annual planning meeting. So people know what's coming up. They get to say, next March, I want to do this. And it got people really excited, what they were looking forward to. And it gives everyone an opportunity to share what they want to do for the next year. And if they're looking forward to the specific outing, it helps with member retention because they know what to look forward to.
Yeah, the week before our annual planning, we sent out a survey to all the crew members asking what kind of activities they wanted to do. And then when we actually sat down to do the planning, we made sure we had a good mix of fun outings, adventuresome outings, and service projects. That way, there's something for everyone to do, something they're interested in.
Awesome. Are there any experiences and advice for challenges that people might face, like recruitment or funding or member retention?
Well, there were definitely a couple issues we worried about like that, such as recruitment and keeping those who came to the initial interest meeting engaged. Something that really helped us get word out there for recruitment is our council's social media. I'm sure any other council who has social media will be willing to send that, to post it, send it out, get it out there. The information for our interest meeting was posted on the council's Facebook and Instagram, and multiple people I'd never met before showed up just from seeing that. After that, it's just kind of a matter of keeping people interested. Like I said, ask them what they want to do. We planned our first event in that first month, and we had a huge turnout since people were so newly interested in the success of the crew. So keep people engaged, make them want to keep coming back is my biggest advice. Have a monthly outing, even if it's nothing big. We're going ice skating this month. If it's something small, just keep members engaged and ask what they want to do. Just hear everyone out.
I really love that, and that's going to create a culture where people are going to know that they can come and do what they want to do. And I love at least the induction ceremony when I was inducted into my crew for the venturer rank. One of the lines is that the crew follows the interest of its members, and the youth get to define what goes on. And I really like how you have embraced that. You've embraced the ALPS model through your experience and how you're setting up the culture of this crew. And I really like how you've put that together. To wrap up, and as we're kind of concluding to the end of our conversation, could you each provide our listeners with your top tips for starting and running a successful venturing crew?
Yeah, well, my best piece of advice is to just start the process. Recruit beforehand, make sure you have a group who wants to actually join, and just go for it. A lot of people are interested in starting a new crew, and it's not something that happens overnight. It took us a year to actually get the crew started. But as the youth, tell everyone that you can. Do your best. If they're already in scouting or not, I found people interested in joining the crew everywhere I looked, everyone I knew. Do your best to keep it youth-led and be ready to grow and learn together as a crew, because there are definitely obstacles and disagreements that you'll face, and you're only a youth in the program for so many years. So take your time and appreciate these opportunities. It's only been a couple months, and I've learned so much from starting this venturing crew and how to work with the other members of the crew.
Yeah, my tip is I think youth-led is the key. The goal isn't to run a perfect program. The goal is to give the youth opportunities to lead. And I find that the more they're involved in the planning and executing, the more fun they have and the more ownership they have. The fact that they're learning solid leadership skills along the way is kind of the secret sauce.
Thank you. That sounds beautiful to my ears. And secret sauce, keep it youth led. I really like that. Definitely something. And Reed, you can take the experiences that you've had in the crew and put it in your positions in the lodge and the rest of the council and at summer camp. Thank you so much. Thank you to our wonderful guest for sharing their insights and experiences on how to start a venturing crew. We hope this episode has been informative and inspiring for our listeners who are considering embarking on this amazingly wonderful, exciting adventure. And we have a document coming soon to our website called How to Start a Venturing Crew. It's a 4-page document that really breaks it down into what you'll need, the people that you'll need, setting a culture, and it will really help you, along with this and hearing from Reed and Mr. Coleman's experience, start that venturing crew and have all the tools that you need. Next time, we're going to talk to a VP of program for a local venturing crew, and he's going to tell us about his experience, what he's learned. That way we can really take this program and take what you've learned and build up that experience with time management, and it's just going to be so much fun. So I can't wait to see you there. And thank you for our listeners. I can't forget about you for tuning in to this episode of the Venturing BSA podcast, Leading Our Adventures. If you have any questions or would like to share your own venturing crew experiences, feel free to reach out on Facebook or Instagram, and remember to subscribe to Leading Our Adventures. And stay tuned for more exciting episodes. This is episode 3 of a great journey. We've had so much fun so far, and the sky's the limit with where we can go. Until next time, happy venturing.